We'll see. 9th of September. Today's job is just to tidy up the garden a bit, just cut this bird's foot trefoil back and then tidy up that lot under that weeping ash tree. So it's a case of get the scythe mower out. Well, that's it done. Just got to rake up all these bits here and dump them up the garden. This scythe mower is a wonderful machine. It tackles just about anything. Well, that's it all done. Looks a bit tidier now. And lots of nuts on this purple hazel. They're usually quite small. There aren't as many this year. Hazelnuts. The squirrels and woodpecker will be disappointed. Now, a little hole in the wire there, that's where the body's obviously getting in. I don't mind. And the woodpecker's already at the nuts. There's all the little furry creatures. Mice and voles obviously been nibbling away at them. Wood mice probably. Yeah, nuts are beginning to ripen. When they come out of the little case easily, then they're ripe. But there's obviously things of interest in this old cherry tree stump, which the woodpecker has been banging away to get at. It's Monday the 16th of September. Absolutely stunning day. These Bromley apples are all beginning to ripen. Getting a nice rosy glow to them. But they are a cooking apple. And bigger and bigger and bigger. You can see the Boston ivy on the gable end of the house all beginning to turn very quickly. Except for the new growth. The new growth remains green, and all that will be to strip off once the leaves have fallen off. Once we get some hard weather, a bit of frost, these road berries will quickly disappear. Flocks of blackbirds on them. See how this ash dieback continues to affect this weeping ash tree. I just stopped on the way down to Top Cliff, drop some windfalls off for this pig. Greedy thing. Yeah, that's it. Well, picked the last of the apples off this tree before they fell on the ground and became bruised. So I'll just put these away in the garage for birds in the winter time, eat a few myself. And these are the pears. Normally we get about 6. And conference pears. They're still hard, they don't ripen on the tree. They ripen after you've picked them. But yeah, that's really pleasing, that. There's the Boston ivy on the end of the house. Absolutely ablaze with scarlet. The new growth remains green. The leaves are just beginning to fall off. One of the jobs that needs doing is to cut back this buddleia before it starts throwing seeds all over the place. There's always seen a badger in this veg patch. Took a little hole and done its business. They don't normally come into this part of the garden. Another job that needs doing is to pick and dry the remains of these beans for sowing next year, and then take the canes out. And look, there are some braver apples. They're difficult to reach. You get the steps out. It's a great shame that the coccy's pippin suffers from this condition. I don't know what to do about it. There are loads of apples on here. They're all cracked or marked in some way. There are a couple from the top of the tree. That one there's. It's almost perfect coccy's pippin. Got the right size, right colour. The others tend to be a bit small. And the brambles have all finished now. Nuts are all right now. I'll gather a few before they fall off. There aren't as many nuts this year because of the awful windy, wet spring. Howling gales we had. It's amazing how they vary. These are off that purple hazel. But there's one tree that produces these great big nuts in great big clusters. Oh, you see them there. Really big. Whereas the others tend to be much smaller. Anyway, that'll do. I'll leave the rest to the squirrels and badgers. Oh, and the woodpecker. Autumn colours. The rowan berries and the Boston ivy behind. Absolutely beautiful. You see the mildew setting in on the courgettes. Always happens at this time of year. So these two courgettes will probably be the last. Although there's still a flower there. This bush, well, this plant, grows from nothing every year. I cut it right back. It produces these beautiful hanging flowers. She literally turn into red berries and then into purple berries. Just these little white flowers. You get this sort of candelabra berries. I've no idea what it's called. And there's the onions, they're about dried off now. I just put them away in the box. There's enough there for me. Well, the problem with squirrels is they bury the nuts, and those they don't find, they actually germinate. You end up with all these little hazel bushes all over the shop. They all have to be dug out. So that's a little job to be thinking about. These are the 5 apples which grow in the garden. This is a Braeburn. They haven't done very well this year. This is a brownie cooking apple. Great big things. They always do really well. I don't know what that is. No, I don't know what that is either. But these two are prolific. And this is the Cox's pippin, which never really does very well at all. Well, recently we've been a bit heavy on the fishing, a bit late on the gardening. So today I'll sort out some things in the garden, it being the 28th of September. So I just need to pick off those remaining beans and dry them for planting out next year, and take these canes down. And pick the last of the courgettes. Well, one of them looks like it's almost a marrow. We haven't had any really cold weather. Chilly but not frosty. Once the frost sets in, these rowan berries disappear almost overnight, and flocks of blackbirds come in. And the Bramley cookers are about ripe, so they need picking carefully and putting away in a box. And the leaves are beginning to fall off the Boston ivy on the gable end. And you can see where this ash dieback is continuing to wreak havoc on this weeping ash tree. How long it will survive for, I have no idea. Well, that's the bean seeds for next year. Just needs them to dry out now. These are the dogtooth violets, which have been growing in a pot and need transferring up into woodland. You can see why they're called dogtooth. Because the little corbs look like dog's teeth. I'll take some of this lily of the valley up into the woodland as well. Absolutely rampant stuff this is. It can grow anywhere, I think. A sucker coming from the roots of this Victoria plum tree. So that'll be to remove. Most of the tomatoes are all still green, but there are 3 here which have ripened, much to my amazement. And there are the colours of autumn. Well, 2 or 3 frosty nights and the whole of the back of the house. And Boston ivy has turned glorious deep red. all the leaves will fall off and then it'll be time to strip it right back. Well, the gable end, all the leaves have fallen off. A few stalks and the younger foliage is still on. But it won't be long before it falls off. All the signs of ash dieback continuing on this weeping ash tree. Today it is apple picking. I pick all these Bromley cooking apples. Yeah, lovely apples. Well, that's them all picked. What you do with them all, I've no idea. And there's loads lying on the ground, which will go to feed that pig down the road. And then with any blemishes on, I've just left them on a tree and they'll fall off and the birds will get them. A few tasty morsels for that pig, all the windfalls. There are a few brave birds on there, but they haven't come to much this year. I'll just leave them for the birds. Just for the best fed pig in the area, this. Aren't you? Hey? Enough apples here. Feed this pig for weeks. Oh, that's all the fruit. The apples and pears are all picked and boxed up in the garage. Just have to keep an eye open for any that start decaying. Well, it's the end of October and this Boston ivy is putting on a wonderful display at the back of the house. It's superb. A couple of weeks all these leaves will have fallen off and all that will be to strip back. But for now it's just to enjoy. And the asparagus is beginning to turn now. When it's all turned it will be to cut down. You see the typical autumn dew on the leaves. We had a misty night last night. Pheasant sitting on top of the hedge. Hiding from the guns, no doubt. Keeping safe in the garden. Here's a funny bird. It's the 5th of November, American Election Day. leaves everywhere. The Boston ivy still hanging on to its leaves. Superb colours up there. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, it just comes through the gate into the woodland. It becomes more and more like a wood every day. Wonderful yellows of the birch and the maples. Dark brown of the oaks. See, those massive nutshells under this tin sheet. Hello, cheeky. Where are you going? Wonderful autumn colours. And the sort of orangey pinks of the spindle tree. These sort of red fruits with their orange seeds inside. They're in fact poisonous. See them there. It's called a spindle tree because they use the very hard wood for making spindles for the sort of textile industry. Wool and cotton. We just spread like wildfire. Puts out lots of suckers from under the ground. Saturday the 16th of November. Nearly all the leaves are off now, so I'll be able to clear all this up. The last of the Boston ivy leaves at the top, all that young growth from this year. It still looks lovely in this autumn sunshine. Well, now we're getting some frosts and most of the berries seem to have disappeared. It's time to start feeding the birds, I think. Well, today is the 28th of November and it's cold, but the fishing terrible. So it's tidy up the garden, get it ready for the winter time. So the main job is just to knock back this buddleia and cut all this asparagus back. Cart it all up the garden for burning. Well, that didn't take long, steady away job. It's amazing how much stuff you get. I just lug it all up the garden. There's still a fair number of leaves on the trees to come off. It's amazing this time of year. Considering it's the middle of November, this maple tree is still carrying a lot of green. And a little spruce tree surviving. Of course it's evergreen, so at this time of year when all the leaves are off the other trees, it benefits from that. Well, all the leaves are off now, so I'll get them all swept up. Stop them blowing into the house. Not perfect, but it'll do for now. They'll still be blowing around for a few weeks yet. Well, the recent storms have smashed me rosemary. So, big lumps broken off there. The problem with it is I'm not sure that it will recover from all the wood. I might just have to give it a haircut. But, that's a shame. It's been there for 25 years. This is the asparagus patch, and I've got some well-rotted compost which I need to put on top of there, and I'll cover it with those leaves, protect it from any severe frosts which we might get. It's good stuff. Not only will it protect the asparagus, it'll also provide nutrients. Well, that'll do nicely. Time for a cup of tea.